Today we're working on 203D. And yesterday we ended up adding, subtracting, multiplying, dividing, and composing functions. And today we're going to focus just on composing functions. So if you turn to 201, so we have example 6, which says, given the functions f of x is x squared minus 6, and g of x is 5 minus x squared, evaluate. So what is f of g of 1? So that means I'm going to put function g, so g into f. Let's stick this in here. So 5 minus x squared to the second minus 7, which is 25 minus 10x squared plus x to the fourth minus 7. Now I have to put in 1. What is 1 squared? 1. What is 1 to the fourth? It's also 1. So 25 minus 10 plus 1 minus 7. So that'd be 15. 16 minus 7 would be 19. Now, that's not the way I would recommend doing this. What's the easier way? Do I need this function, which is called f of g of x? Do I need that to figure out a single point? No, I can just plug that point in instead. So I'm going to take the number 1, and I'm going to stick it into the g function. X squared is 1, so 5 minus 1 would be 4. So g of 1 equals 4. Now what do I do with the 4? Well, if you look at the function f of g of 1, this piece right here equals 4, so let's just find f of 4. So I take 4 and I stick it in there. 4 squared is 16 minus 7 gives me the same answer. Okay? So if you look down at letter B, it's the second one. F of g of negative 2, if I plug negative 2 in, 5 minus negative 2 squared plus 1, or squared equals 1. I'm going to take that 1 and stick it into the f function. So into the f function, which is 1 squared minus 7, which is negative 6. Does that make sense? Okay. So if you look at your exercise set, we are doing 39 to 49 odd. Okay? But it says evaluate f of g of 1 and g of f of 2 if possible. So let's do number 40. Number 40 for f of g of 1, I'm going to plug 1 into g. In the denominator, I get 2 minus 1, which is 1, and 1 divided by 1 is 1. So g of 1 equals 1. Then I plug that in here. 1 squared is 2, and 2 plus 1, or 1 squared is 1, thank you. So 1 plus 1 is 2, so f of g of 1 equals 2. Okay, what about g of f of 2? Plug 2 in there. 2 squared is 4, 4 plus 1 is 5. So f of 2 equals 5, and I plug 5 in there. 2 minus 5 is negative 3, so the answer is negative 1/3. Okay? Why would it say if possible? Right, if you plug in a number and you get the square root of a negative, then you end up with an imaginary number, and you try to plug that imaginary number in. Or, so technically you could come up with imaginary numbers, and those kind of have answers. What if I tried to do f of g of 2 in number 40? Will that work? If I plug 2 into G, I get 1 over 0, which is infinity, and it's also negative infinity, depending on which direction you travel from. It depends if our 0 is positive, then it's positive infinity. If our 0 is negative, then it's negative infinity, because the graph looks like this. So if you approach 0 from the right side, you're approaching infinity. If you approach 0 from the left side, you're approaching negative infinity. So which one would you plug in here? We don't know. It just doesn't work. So you might run into some problems that are just simply not possible. Okay? All right. Good luck.